And welcome everybody. I'll just get the video up. Thanks, Jace. We're on. Okay, I can see live stream on one side and I am here. Just checking you can hear my audio. Just pop a one in the chat. I'm using a different microphone today, so I appreciate you. Cool, fantastic. Well, welcome along to Flow Friday. Great to see some new faces and returning faces. Today's session, we're going to get back to basics and look at the foundation, which will be really helpful for many who might be just starting, but also if it's your first time naturally, as well as if you've got team members that will be joining you in becoming flow engineers in your organization. Even whenever we do a foundation session, I'll make sure we've got a new flow, something that's useful for you to do, utilize as well. So we'll drop the worksheet in the chat. I'll share my screen and we'll jump into today's session. Now the worksheet is, we'll be providing this as the Google Sheet each time. Now we find that one's the most flexible. Also, in case I need to do a couple of edits and update some items during the session, that'll be helpful as well. We're going to cover the seven things, definitely six. We'll see if we can get to the seventh one as well, time permitting. And what I'd like to say is welcome flow engineers. Even if you're brand new to this and you don't yet feel like a flow engineer, you're about to become a flow engineer. A flow engineer is someone who's able to orchestrate these AI agents, bring them together in workflows in order to be able to help do the work that you do on a regular basis. And AI agents are becoming more powerful, and we're going to see that power across the upcoming weeks as we start to move into the next zone of connecting to APIs, application program interfaces. But let's have a look at what we're covering today. We'll go through understanding what is an AI agent with a very simple definition that you'll be able to pass on to others so they can understand it as well. We'll become familiar with the interface, and if you haven't yet set up your OpenAI API account, I'm going to show you a new clickable demo that we can walk through that'll show you step by step how to do that one. We'll also create your first two agents if it's your first time, or for some of us, we will have created at least one of these two, and we'll be creating the second one. And then we'll create the workflow for that one. I'll get rid of that data because that one is from the previous instructions. We'll run the workflow in the chat, and then we'll go deeper into understanding the three ways that agents can work with your data. All right, and let's jump into it. So what is an AI agent is the first question here. The definition that we like to use is an AI agent is an AI entity that does the work you do for you. Now, for some people who are new to AI agents, that might sound either one of two ends of the spectrum. Oh, that's scary, or yes, finally. Now, whichever end you're on, I'd like to meet you a little bit in the middle here, at least to say that they're not going to be able to do everything. Okay, we're not looking at replacing humans here. The game is to augment, augment our work so that we can have more creative time. And one of the things that when we look at AI, it essentially is a tool. And we've been going through a whole, change of ages ever since humans were around, and that we are tool builders. We love to create tools and use tools to improve our productivity, our performance, and ultimately the results that we output. And so just like today, we probably wouldn't consider doing large calculations like profit and loss and forecasts without Excel or software. We certainly wouldn't be returning to an abacus to try and do that. In many cases, we wouldn't even want to use a calculator. We'd want to use the best tool that's the best fit. And so AI agents are going to be the new tool that supports us in the work that we're doing. Now, we'll become familiar with the interface in a sec. But what I'd like, so let's do that right now. Just a quick overview of the interface. If it's your first time, it'll feel familiar like ChatGPT in the fact that it has a chat interface for us here. What we also have going on across the top of the screen is the ability to have some more options. So the first option here is the chat interface. And on the chat, what's quite unique is that you can select which AI agent that you would like to talk to. Once we've created those AI agents, they become available for you to talk directly to them. The agents themselves live here in this section for utilizing either existing available agents that are either your agents, or you can have some that might be coming from templates as well. And so that you can, if you've got organizational agents, pardon me, so if they're shared across the organization, and then templated ones that will come along with the system also. We'll be starting to release even more AI agents as we test them and find them really useful. I think we'll also see in the not too distant future a few UI changes to this page, because we're finding that people are starting to create like 100 different agents, and that's awesome. We keep creating them. What's really useful with an agent is you think of them as your specialist in a particular area. They originally start out being designed from the large language model that they're connected to. And then we can further add additional knowledge to them to make them even smarter for the needs that you have. Now, the large language models like ChatGPT 4o, which is our preferred model here, although Gemini will soon be added as well from Google. But 4o, the amount of data that it's been trained on from globally means that, like, you think of it like all the world's experts are located within that large language model. And imagine that you had a hotline or on speed dial on your phone, all of the experts in the world that you wanted to speak to. And that you could just click on that speed dial, pick up the phone and talk to that expert, get their advice, and have them help you to do some of the work that you do. The thing is, though, there's no directory of phone numbers to actually call those experts. We need to think about who they are and then create the expert via the AI agent. Now, the AI agent, creating them is really straightforward, and you'll see that when we're about to make it shortly. The world of prompting to essentially elicit this knowledge out of the large language models has become so much easier, because rather than needing to figure out how to be a prompt engineer and master, you can now do this via the AI agents. Actually, in the background, will help to prompt the agent. So the AI creates the AI in this case. Now, the next item we have here across the top of the screen is the workflows, or my Zoom is getting in the way. Team, if I can get you to keep admitting everyone so it doesn't pop up on my screen, thanks. The next item we have here is the workflows. Now, anytime that we do a portion of work, as we start to become a systems thinker, we can chunk any goal or task that we have down into smaller sections and subsections. We call these, in business, we call these workflows. As prompt engineers, we'll just shorten that to flows. And a flow essentially is helping you to complete a process by chunking it down into smaller tasks, assigning an AI agent that's a specialist just for that task, and then where needed, also connecting to external tools. Now, the next item on our interface is the tool sets. Now, tool sets are either pre-connected SaaS solutions, so other software as a service solutions were pre-connected, or you're able to actually create a new tool. Now, we'll start going into creating new tools and connecting to other APIs in the upcoming weeks. Then we've got Infobase. Now, Infobase here is where you can start to give general knowledge about your business that will be shared to all of the agents that you build. Now, if you're building agents just for inside your organization and you're not using them for, let's say, consulting, or maybe you're a marketing expert that's working with your clients and you want client data to be in here, if you're not doing any of that external and it's just for inside your organization, then the Infobase is a really good place to start building general knowledge about your organization that will be shared across all of your agents. So some of the things you might like to put in there are like mission and vision and values around your organization, perhaps even things like the types of products that you sell. Although there's another area to add these, and I'll share that with you as the morning progresses. Now, also on our interface here on the left-hand side, we see the ability to book a support call. This one's primarily around helping you to set up your OpenAI account or any other large language models But if you need some extra support, we'd really love to be able to help you out. We want to see you win with AI agents. So there's the ability to book a call over there. Also, we have on here history logs, but another really important one is our feature requests, integrations, and heaven forbid, if we've got a bug, you'll be able to put a bug report in as well. Now, feature requests. So these are your brilliant ideas. We'd love to hear them. Things like we've got some categories in there for you, like chat and workflow and agent toolset integrations, user access, login, sharing. The heads up, HUD, it's a bit of our terminology, stands for the heads up display. And we'll have a look at that a little later. This is this little downloadable app over here. We'll have a look at that later. Other categories we've got in there, info base, and if it's uncategorized something else, you can put that in. So you can add these in. You can also vote on what others have shared as well to help bump those ideas up. We love to see that so that we can help to prioritize, hear my words, for our community so that we can be building what's really useful for everyone. Now, we should also see in here, okay, we'll soon be showing also what we're working on here is my understanding. We'll show so you know that what we've actually got scheduled for planning and what's going into production as well. Bug report, if there's a bug, this is where you can submit those as well. And that will help you know that it's been submitted and we're working on it to keep you updated there. Our team will also endeavor to, if you've ever submitted a feature request or a bug, certainly keeping you up to date and keeping you aware of when we make the changes and do releases and updates. Going back to the dashboard now. So we've looked at the feature releases. The next area here is workspace settings. It's in your workspace settings where you can set up the general information about your business, extend the number of members that you have on your team, and the large language model, where the connection and where it lives. So it's a great segue then to go into how do we actually set up the OpenAI API Key and the OpenAI organization ID. Those things sometimes feel a little bit tricky because we might be taking a step that's not so normal for us. But as my grade 8 manual arts teacher, Mr. Malloy, said to me as I was struggling in my woodwork class, he yelled out across the room, I'll never forget it. He said, Kesby, everything's easy when you know how. And I thought, oh, I don't think it really landed for me as a 13-year-old, but certainly as an adult, everything's easy when you know how. And so the amount of know-how that you're going to get from showing up at these Flow Friday sessions and just practicing together, my goodness, you are going to become unstoppable in this zone. And even things like accessing API keys in different systems, that will become quite normal for you soon as you start to connect these different SaaS tools together for your agents to work with. And I predict for you that in a few months' time, you'll be looking back and feeling so confident with technology and working with things like APIs. It'll just become as probably as straightforward as you working with like Excel or Word and keeping it really that simple, because your knowledge base will go up. Okay, so what I've got here is a link. I'm going to pop that one in the chat for everyone as well. And this is part of a new approach that we're bringing forward. Oh, I'll just see a few questions there. I'll come back to those shortly. We'll be releasing a whole range of different demos and walkthroughs to help make it easier to navigate, especially as you bring team members on to become Flow engineers as well. This first one is essentially just for the setup. So the way these work is you can click on each step of the demo. You can put that on a second screen while you're doing the work, and you can flow, and work your way through. When it comes to connecting these API keys, once we've logged in, we go down here to the settings icon and then select our language model. And we will then need to go to platform.openai.com. And when we go to OpenAI, you will either be registering an account for the first time or logging in. In this example here, I'm just going to log in. And so I'll put in my email address and then continue. Uh, Once you've actually set up one of these accounts, you'll always need your mobile phone for multi-factor authentication. So you put in your multi-factor authentication number and continue. And then this is where it's quite interesting, where you need to navigate around to find these items. So the first place you go to is actually the settings wheel. And then from there, you'll find your organization ID. I've just blurred mine out naturally. Now, I recommend at this point in time, you copy your organization ID and save it to a secure location. Make sure do not ever share that or your API keys with anyone. Always keep those private. Now, from there, create a new project here on the left-hand side. And you can call that anything you like, but keep it under a naming convention that is useful. So for me, I put Raya-AI agents. And with that there, I click on save. And the next step is to go and find our API keys, or create one actually. And you do that by selecting the dashboard and going to the API keys section. Now, I've shared this clickable link with you so you can go back to it through it at your pace. And then once the API key is selected, you can select create new secret key. And it's really important here, there's two options. It's either owned by you or owned by service account. Please select service account. And with that selected, then add in a service account ID. I'm just using the same ID for this one as the actual project that we set up because they're very aligned. You won't need to have multiple keys. You'll just need the one key that will be shared across your entire organization that's using the Raya Pro platform. From here, we then, once that's been entered, make sure that your project has been selected. If you've only got one project, that's pretty straightforward. It's just Raya AI agents will be automatically presented. Once that's there, all you need to do is create the secret key. And your secret key, this one here, needs to be copied. Now, I don't recommend actually storing that one anywhere. You only need to put it into Raya once, and then it's encrypted. So put it into Raya. You don't really want these API keys floating around anywhere to be accidentally accessed. They're very valuable, these ones, because they could be used anywhere. So just copy it at this point in time, and you can say that one's done. And then from there, all you need to do is go over into Raya and paste it into the OpenAI API Key area, and then go to where you had saved your organization ID and paste it in here. Then you'll be able to save that and select the model that best suits you. Our recommendation is GPT-4o. It is really affordable. It's if you were going to play around with a different model, you might try 3.5 Turbo if you want to go even cheaper. But for me personally, given the time saving for each of the items that we deliver, it's so cheap to run that I use 4o all the time. Now from here is takes us to being completed with our setup of our Open API key and the organization ID. As you can see here is a bit of a sneak peek. Soon we'll have Google Gemini coming and then some other models as well. And when it comes to plans and pricing, they're available down here as well. We'll also soon have some credits coming out as well to be able to get people started along the way. Okay, from here, we now can go back to our chat interface, and it's time for us to jump into the demo. But I'm going to answer any questions we've got here. I'm going to have a quick look at those. All right. And question, let's go all the way back. Here we go. I haven't missed anything. Let's start with the first question from Madeline, I think. Thank you, Madeline. Why can't multiple people create an agent and upload info? E.g., as a business owner, I like to create an agent, but I want team to upload the data or the data. Oh, good question. In fact, Jay's jumped onto that one about some permissions. Okay, we'll certainly add that one to the roadmap. Great. We'll make it so rather than the agent as an organization level, then going to an individual, we want, what I hear there is we want that agent to then be available for everyone to edit versus it just being taken on by the individual. So we'll add a new setting to allow that to happen. Chris has got one here. We have had a new compliance requirement placed on us this week. We need to be able to record a phone conversation, convert it to a summary, and then use that info to prepare a formal email advice that is supported by reference material. Can Multiply team help me create this workflow and AI agents? Yes, in fact, Chris, we can chat offline. Phone agents will be available in early August, but I can do a setup for you next week, if you like. We can do a little bit of an example of that. We then need to connect to that via the API through to the workflow that you're after. So that'd be a really great one for us to be demoing. We'll build that one together and then we'll demo it in early August. Ryan's got a few items here. Is Raya able to access the web search yet? Can I get an update, team, on where we are with web search? I know that it's in last sprint, it didn't get completed. It is in this current sprint, so it's pretty close. Same will be with Google Drive. And has the usability of embedded chat been fixed with iPad and iPhone? So I'll get Jay, if you can help answer those three questions. Thank you. Richard Scott, I emailed last week inquiring about the 90-day implementation bootcamp. You haven't heard back from me. I'm sorry, but I've been absolutely swamped. I'll be releasing a couple of options to it. So you and I will jump on a phone call early next week. And Anne is saying to me, too fast. I am a little fast today for this setup so we can get into the next. We will keep the video recording. There'll be a video recording of what we did this morning into the into that Google Doc. So we'll slice that out. The other really important one is the getting yourself set up. This one here is actually a link now. It's a demo link. So you can go back and do each step by step yourself. That link is actually available here in the documents. It's connecting your OpenAI API so that you can navigate through it. What we're also doing for everyone, you'll see this, I would say Tuesday, Wednesday next week. This same demo approach will be available for being familiar with the interface. So as a first-time user, you'll be able to sort of click through and navigate at your own pace and be able to do that step by step. It'll get quite advanced, and every time we release a new feature, we'll now be taking the same approach so that you've got that there as your backup as you navigate through. Okay, I think the team are actually asking for helping me with a whole bunch of questions there. So, and Hillary's got a good one there. Mark's got one that's sent through. Can you have a separate info base for different businesses? When you get down to that level, you might need if you've got different businesses that you own or different businesses for clients. If it's different businesses for clients, then I'd recommend that you'll use the knowledge on the agents as a way to connect to those. We'll have a look at that today. If you're an agency, Hillary's got, if you're an agency or consultancy working for clients and all your work focuses on one core topic, would it make sense to put the technical core knowledge in the info base rather than the company info? That'd be a really smart play. That'd be really, really great way to do it. So it's their standard. Then when you get down into really specific information, it would still be worthwhile to look at how you connect that to a specific agent. How do we access the originally discussed discounted rates? So they're probably back from the earlier days, but Jay, maybe you can help with that offline. Naomi's would like guidance or a template for the info base. I've tried to use it, but had no impact. Okay. We'll get through some examples of what you can put into the info base. I like using, because I'm often doing so many different things. I keep most of mine in the source wiki, or for those that might have OneBrain or Microsoft OneDrive, or soon Google Drive. I find that's the best way to go there. And part 2 there, tried to get a page in OneBrain to teach my LinkedIn post writer things like our standard tags again. Couldn't get that input to have any impact on the output. All right, well, that would be a great one for us to do as an upcoming Flow Friday session. Actually, team, can we put into the requests Flow Friday topics as well? If people have got a particular topic that they would like to work on, that sounds like a good fun one to work with. And if trainings are not on the Business Blueprint site, please use our YouTube channel at AI Powered People. I'll get nice to add that into the channel. And I will now jump over into the session and I'll come back to more questions in a moment. Okay, so in today's session, we're going to create 2 agents and 1 workflow. The agents that we're going to create today are a research analyst. Now, some may already have that. You don't need to create it twice. And then the other is a YouTube Shorts script writer. And whenever you see purple writing in these worksheet documents, it means that that's the item to copy and paste. So while we're here, let's just copy that one. Oh, and I didn't say earlier, but hopefully you're working off 2 screens when you come to these sessions. Put me on 1 screen and your Raya AI agent editing platform on the main screen. So click on Research Analysis and copy that one. And let's head on over to Raya and we'll navigate to the Agents section. So click on Agents. And with the Agent screen in front of you, select Build New Agent on the right-hand side. And here where it says Enter Agent Role, simply click on this space and paste in Research Analyst. Now, when it comes to naming your agents, you can call them anything you like, but it's really important that it starts out with a functional name. A functional name allows the large language model to then very effectively write the goal statement, the backstory, and also the base instructions, which we'll come to in a moment. Now, from here, you can give the AI agent either an emoji to give it some life, or you can add a custom avatar. You can select a message, an image there if you like to add one. And from here, we can then select a category. Now, we do have custom categories coming out shortly. I imagine we'll probably see those next week. And we can give that one a category. I might give it marketing because it's going to do some research. And that won't impact the prompting, but it will help you to find the agents later when you're building lots of them. It really helps with just the filtering of the different agents. Now, this one here, the goal statement. Provide the goal statement on what the role is expected to do to further set up its skills background. All you need to do here is simply click on Generate, and the AI will start creating the AI. I love this part. It's always fun to watch. As a research analyst, I'm responsible for systematically collecting, evaluating, and interpreting data to provide actionable insights that drive strategic decision-making. My role involves employing various research methodologies to analyze market trends, consumer behavior, and industry developments, ensuring that my organization can make informed, evidence-based decisions by synthesizing complex information into clear, concise reports. I validate the hypothesis and provide recommendations that support our business objectives and growth. Cool. I think I'm pretty happy with that one. Next thing is the backstory. Define the agent's performance and historical background and how it should execute a task. Let's click on Generate for that one. Now, if your statements are a little bit different to mine, that's okay. That is the large language model of GPT-4o or whichever model you've selected, doing what it's designed to do. It's designed to predict the next letter, actually, predict the next word, the next sentence, the next paragraph. And it's a little bit like having a conversation with a human. When you ask a human a question today, they give you an answer. If you ask the human the question tomorrow, they'll give you the answer, but the words won't be exactly specifically the same in the same order. You'll often generally get a similar output that will explain the concept, but it won't be precisely the same. That's not the job of the large language model. When you need precision in outputs, that's where we're going to take a different artificial intelligence and machine learning approach, which is called retrieval augmented generation. And that whole concept is built into Raya. When you're wanting the AI agents to give you information specifically connected to your business, then you'll be connecting it to external systems or to a knowledge base. And all that complexity is handled behind the scenes for you inside Ray. I'll cover that a bit more in a moment. Next item is you can have a look at this one. Now, you'll notice, like with the backstory, it's sort of like you've been interviewing for this particular position for a human, and they've got some experience. So in this example here, with a robust background in data analysis and market research, I've accumulated over 7 years of experience as a research analyst, specializing in both qualitative and quantitative methods. I've connected in-depth studies, and it goes on and on, right? So gives you insight there. The next one then is the base instructions. I cannot speak to that. I need a drink. Describe the role and responsibilities of this agent. Include examples of how it should respond to different types of tasks. Now, we'll generate that one. I can imagine that if we sat down with an attempt to write this in detail, how long it would take to get this level of precision in the communication. Here we go. Some examples here. Role and responsibilities: data collection, data analysis, reporting, consultation, market research, quality assurance, project management. And then it goes on further to explain some different tasks like data collection. And you'll notice here we've got example and response. So the structure of that prompting really helps the LLM in its activities. So the large language model needs to understand a deeper context in order to be able to be more effective. Just like if we're communicating with a human being, the more context we have, the more effective and precise our outputs can be. So the AI has been prompted to actually help give you that quality of context. Now, with the examples and ideas on the responses. Now, you're not limited to what's in here. You can further add more information at this point in time. You can further prompt, and with that, to train your agents. Now, that's part of becoming a flow engineer, is also mastering the art of prompting, and also taking on this very much, it's the scientific method where we have a hypothesis, we run the experiment, we get an output, and from that, once we look at it, if we're happy with the output, fantastic. If we would like to adjust it, well, we adjust our methodology. We actually, that experiment there, which is inside the agent itself, we can make tweaks on the prompting, but we can also do some other things like adjust its behavior. And once it's been created, we can also add some knowledge. Now, the conversation starter is a new feature that we have here. It's a list of prompts to start a conversation with the agent in the chat. So that if you're just chatting to it individually, you can put some prompts in there. We'll have another feature coming soon in this area called prompt templates. For now, let's focus on the behavior, which is tone of voice and disc personality. So tone of voice here, this setting will have an impact on how the agent generates content. And for this one, because it's a research analyst, you could pick things like professional or informative or maybe authoritative. Today, I'm going to go for informative. Then our disc personality profile is all about choosing a personality that will help to tune the responses further. Things around its persona, around creativity and mindset and uniqueness. Now, given that it's a research analyst, now if you're not familiar with DISC, it's very, very quickly, there's sort of 4 communication styles that we come from: dominant, influential, compliant, and steady. And these are deep within our personalities. And often what it comes out when we're really pushed at our maximum extremes. Majority of us, the older we get in life, we often become more adaptable, or we've become adaptable over time. We've learned about how to communicate with others effectively. And we'll find that although we might have some dominant area, we can generally play well in most. I'm going to pick compliant for this one: cautious, careful, conscientious, calculating in here, being useful when it comes to being a research analyst. Okay, from there, scroll to the top of the page and we'll create the agent. Now, once you've clicked on create agent, you'll see that the buttons have changed to save and publish. We'll have some more items appear. We've got the ability to add tool sets, I'm going to select the tool set of web search for this one to browse and search the internet. So let's select web search. Oops, my web search by clicking on the radio button and then add tools. Now, the other things that are adjusted on the page here as well, we have the option for embedding. That is so that you can embed this particular agent on either a private intranet site or a public website. If you are going to put it on a public website, just note that any of the time people are chatting with it, it is using your tokens. So you need to make a decision on ensuring that that's going to be a useful agent. There's many more advancements coming with these embedded agents. And one of the future states with this will be the live chat integration as well, so that you can hand the agent over to a team member. The next one that you see here is the desktop. This is where we can add the agent to our docked agents. There is a maximum of 2 agents available over here on our heads-up display, our MultiPlai.tech downloadable app. So I'm not going to add those because I'm pretty happy with my 2 at the moment that I've got on there. They're useful for me. But all you'll need to do is, once that's downloaded, all you need to do is turn that one on. Now, also on the page here, as we scroll down, what was added after you've saved the agent is the knowledge base area. Now, this is where you can help your agent to be more precise about your business information in the actions that it's taken. And there's a few ways to add knowledge here. The large language model will accept a PDF, a document, text, Excel, a PNG file, or a JPEG file. So it can actually, it's multimodal, so it can actually read what's on those images as well. So if you had a flowchart as an example, or maybe an infographic, it'll be able to consume all of that information and take that into consideration when it's making its replies. If you'd like to connect to an external page source, whether that's SourceWiki or, for those at the Business Blueprint community, OneBrain, which is your version of the SourceWiki, or things like OneDrive, and as I mentioned before, Google here shortly, you'll be able to go through and select specific pages or documents for the system to consume. Now, what happens is that documentation is going to be saved in a vector database, and in that saving, it's converted into an array of numbers. So think of that a little bit like longitude and latitude in a way, so that the computer can plot this information on a graph in a way that it can then understand where the connections are between different ideas. A little bit like in our brain. You ever notice when we think, sometimes we kind of look up and we're considering all these ideas that are floating around and we need to bring them together. It's a little bit like how the AI is doing that. It uses what's called the vector database to present everything up on this graph, and then with its associations, it's able to better communicate with that information. Okay, that was agent number 1 with a bit of extra overview. I'm not going to, you can publish that one. I'm going to give mine just the number 2 because I've got a couple of them. So I'm going to publish that now. Because I made a change, I can now add some release notes to it. Added number 2 to the name. And I'm going to publish that one now. That way, as you're making changes over time, or certainly if you've got a group of people working on these over time, you'll be able to track what the changes were. Very useful as you are making experiments, wondering what your changes were if you wanted to revert anything back. We'll now click on agents again, and it will be time to create our second agent. So build new agent. Now let's go back to our worksheet for today and scroll down to agent number 2, where we've got the purple writing of YouTube Shorts scriptwriter. Let's copy that one. And we'll head over to the agent section. And from there, click on Enter Agent and paste in the YouTube Shorts scriptwriter. Let's add an icon. I'm going to put in a movie because that's sort of very video YouTube. And then we'll add a category, appropriate category for this one's marketing as well. And with that in place, the next step is to click on generate. So select generate, and we'll generate our goal statement. And Epps concerned about the number of messages that are coming through in the chat there and the different links. So if we can help Ep out, that would be great. Oh, and Hillary's got she's hit her agent maximum as well. Congratulations. But I don't think you need to upgrade more if you're already paid. So let's help Hillary out with that one. Thanks so much. Okay, so we've got a goal statement. Sure, here's a goal statement, unless you're not on a trial, but let's help Hillary out today because she's here. As a YouTube short script writer, I'm responsible for crafting engaging and concise scripts that capture viewers' attention within a short span of time. My primary goal is to create the content that is both entertaining and informative, driving higher viewer engagement and retention by understanding the latest trends and audience preferences. I ensure that each script is tailored to resonate with our target audience and enhance the channel's visibility. Cool. From there, we'll now create a backstory by clicking on generate. And with over 7 years of experience, hey, maybe you want 10 years. How long's YouTube been around? I don't think Shorts has been around that long though. But creative script writing, I specialize in crafting engaging, concise narratives for YouTube Shorts. My journey began as a content creator on various online platforms where I honed my skills in storytelling. It even sounds like a storyteller. Doing great. Okay. Now we'll then give the base instructions. Great. Understanding audience, script creation, content ideas and brainstorming, collaboration, SEO optimization, adherence to policies, performance analysts, then content ideation. We need 10 fresh ideas for our next YouTube shorts. Hey, that's good. Drafting a script, write a 45-second script short about healthy snack ideas. Right, it's giving examples. We're actually going to get this one to write some scripts in a workflow. And today you can either copy the idea that I've got, or you can do it directly for your own business. But now the next part will be tone of voice. You can do. I'm going to do persuasive, because when we're working with something like YouTube Shorts, like the intention now, I mean, when it comes to marketing, video, oh goodness me, it's just such a requirement now in business. We work with our business coaches. We've got a couple of different companies, but one is SaaS Academy, Software as a Service Academy out of the US, and really great insight from them right now is that, and this really resonated with me. People don't want to be sold to, but they do want to buy. And so it's important for us as we're generating content to realize that that is the new world. People are on their phones, they're not looking up at billboards or TV or newspapers anymore. They are scrolling through their phones. And so becoming content creators around things like YouTube Shorts just becomes a requirement today. And whether you think that's not for you or it is for you, either way, it's sort of it's where the market is. So it's really important for us to be able to create these things. So being persuasive is key. Influential is probably a really good one on this one. So let's now create that agent. We keep it private originally. Once it's tested, then you can share it to your organization. If you're quite confident, you might go straight to organization. With that one now created, we'll head on over to the workflows. Dave's got a great question. How much documentation can we upload to the knowledge base? We haven't pushed it to its test yet, Dave. But what's quite interesting is that when that document gets converted to a vector, which is just numbers, the compression of it comes down really small. We haven't put any limits on it yet, but we'd certainly have fun testing that one out. So certainly let us know. And if you ever want to hit me up directly, if you've got something really large that you want to do, let's have a look at it and see if we can test it out. Can you imagine where, let's say I was a tax and compliance officer. It's got to be, we've got to test this one out soon. Can we upload all of the tax documentation for a for a country or a state and see how well that performs? We certainly need to get onto that one, test it out. Okay, from here, it's now time to create a workflow, but let's go back to our documentation for a moment. So here are the instructions. Create your first workflow. The name of this workflow will be YouTube short scripts from internet research. We're actually going to use the internet research to help create some scripts. So today you can think about your own business. I'll give an example prompt here, but you could just replace that with your own business so you can get some value from today's session immediately, and then go out and create the shorts and send them to me so I can see your work. The description here will be generate 7 YouTube short scripts from internet research. Why 7? Well, 1 for each day of the week so that you can get some content up and out. We're going to create 2 blocks. There's only 2 steps in this one today. And one will use the research analyst and one will be the YouTube shorts writer. So let's do the first copy and paste moment with this purple content here for the name of this flow. Select that one and copy it. Head back on over to the workflows, and on the top right-hand side, select build new workflow. Paste in the name, YouTube short scripts from internet research, then go back to the worksheet and select the next purple wording, which is our description here, generate 7 YouTube short scripts from the internet research, and paste that into the description name. Once that's there, select create, and that will take us through to our workflow canvas, our editor. Now, what you'll see on the screen here is we have a block or a node, but we like to call this one a block. And we've got a start point and an end point, and we're going to build out 2 blocks today to fill out. We can only build the next block once the first one has been filled out. So to fill it out, you can select anywhere on the block itself, and it will open up this new menu on the right-hand side with 3 options: task, agent, and tools. We'll start by putting in the task that we want delivered at this point in time. Now, I've pre-written for you. It's back on our worksheet, and we can copy this task in purple. And with this task, when you paste it in, we'll then read it together. It says, please search for articles, websites, and news from the internet about the topic. Make sure to supply the Q parameter. Now, sometimes in your prompting here, you'll need to use some terminology. In this case, the reference to Q parameter is related to the tool that we'll be connecting. It's a web search tool using the Google search, and it requires the utilization of the Q parameter, and explains it a bit more. Parameter, when using a web search tool, Q is the subject or what the search keyword is. So it's basically what we're searching for. So that in the chat, when we put our request in, the language model is going to understand that, oh, there was a topic that we're searching for, like a keyword, and I need, as the AI agent, I need to pass that information to the SAS tool, which is a web search. And what it's technically going to do is it's actually going to write a function. It's actually going to write a bit of code in the background. Isn't that amazing? In the background, it's writing some code, and it's sending that code over to that other API so that we can actually get this result out. Please provide the links to the articles you have researched so we can get foundation for it. Great. Next step here is the agent. Now here we need to add our research analyst. Yours should appear quite high up because you've just created it. So you could simply see that there, or you can type in search, research analyst. I put a 2 on mine because it was the second one I've created. And we're going to assign that agent. Now, once that's assigned, you'll see it's assigned because it's got the unassigned option. We then go to tools. Now, at the moment, I think we still need to add this one. Soon you won't need to add it because we added it as the base tool for the agent. But let's add this one now for the web search. Great. Once that one's in, we'll notice now this block has changed. We've got a plus sign either side. So we're going to add our second block and then select it. And I recommend you navigate back to the beginning of task. So we've got block number 2 selected, task is selected. we'll head on over to our template. We'll go down to block 2, which is our YouTube short script writer. Whoops, I should have YouTube short script writer here as well. Pardon me. That agent should be this one. Great. Let's copy the task now. Please create 7 YouTube short scripts on the topic. Please keep these scripts at 45 seconds and then build out. In a logical sequence that helps the viewing audience, to progress their knowledge. Copy that one, paste it in. I don't think it would have mattered too much if I didn't adjust that grammar. The LLM would handle that one pretty well. So please create 7 YouTube short scripts on the topic. Please keep these scripts at 45 seconds and then build out in a logical sequence that helps the viewing audience to progress their knowledge. So from that one, we can then move to agent and we'll select our YouTube short script writer, assign it. And there'll be no tool for this one. All we need to do now is select publish. So click on publish. And once you've published that one, I'm going to do it private as the best practice. Select publish. And once you've selected publish, please pop a 1 in the chat so I can see where you're up to. Some will be racing ahead, I'm sure, those that are quite familiar. Ezio's got a good question there. Is there a list of special characters in reference to the queue? We haven't, sorry, my friend, we haven't published that one yet. We'll definitely catch up on it. Jay, can you catch up on that one with the team? And whenever we have around the tools that we have a way to display what the special characters are there. The other item also is when we have a tool that's been selected, I think it's important that we display the options for people to use in the editor. So I think we have a way to do that. How did you get to add tasks? Okay, Rich, I'm going to go back to the workflow editor here. Now, once it's been published, you won't be able to edit the task anymore. We'll need to unpublish the flow. And when it's unpublished, we can then select on the node. And up the top here, we've got task. So task agent tool, you navigate between those each time. And then once you've got the task, you can paste that in. And then afterwards, we'll need to publish that workflow again once we've completed the editing that we want to do. All right, let's give it a run. We'll head on over to chat. And back in our documentation, scroll down until we get to create your first flow. So copy this prompt over. Purple prompt, copy that over. Oops. Paste it into the chat. Now, I've done mine today. You can do exactly the same if you like. Please research the internet for articles on the topic of 7 habits of highly effective people and create some YouTube short scripts. I taught 7 habits of highly effective people professionally for around 10 years, so I'm a bit of a fan. But you can put in whatever you like. You might put something in specific to your business today. And once you've done that, let's run that request. And Raya will now go and find our workflow that's associated to this. And we'll give Raya permission to execute the workflow. And then we'll have some fun looking at what the output looks like. Okay, so there's that flow that we're after. I recommend the following workflow to help you with your request. The workflow YouTube short scripts from the internet research. The description is generate 7 YouTube shorts scripts from the internet. Would you like me to proceed with the workflow? Yes, please. Or you can type in yes as well. And Ray will respond based on just the verbal command. Okay, I've prepared the workflow. Would you like me to proceed? Yes. And then confirm. I do believe we'll see that we'll remove these extra confirmation steps in the near future. Now you can click on the view details button here so that over on the right-hand side, we can see Raya and the agents get to work. Now we'll see the timing start to come in here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We're up to 9 seconds of research so far. Wow, 9 seconds. And in 9 seconds, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles have been researched, summarized, and chunked down and put into memory, like short-term memory, for the next agent to work on. The next agent, being the YouTube short script writer, has now written our seven YouTube short scripts in 13 seconds. Fantastic. Okay. So we see script number 1, be proactive. That's clever. It's actually thought about doing these um, per habit, which is a really good idea. Intro is a hook. So have text on the screen, transform your life with 7 powerful habits. The narrator to say, want to take control of your life? Start with habit 1, be proactive. Being proactive means taking responsibility for your own actions and decisions. Ready to take charge? Stay tuned for habit 2. That's a pretty short one. Okay. And then, sorry, I missed that part. So being proactive means taking responsibility for your own actions and decisions. Visual, clip of someone setting goals and planning their day. Narrator then says, don't react to life, create it. Focus on what you can control and influence. It's really timeless advice. And then script 2, text on screen. Habit 2, visualize success. Want to achieve your dreams? Habit 2 is big with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. Visualize where you want to be and make a plan to get there. A clear vision leads to purposeful actions. What's the ultimate goal? Drop it in the comments. Cool. It's actually starting to get some, requesting some interactions. Habit 3, master your time. Struggling with time management? Put first things first. Focus on your most important task first. And visualize someone prioritize and do list. Don't get distracted by lesser priorities. Ready to take control of your time? Like and subscribe for habit 4. Clever. Text on screen, optimize your day with key priorities. It's really working like a social media expert here with YouTube Shorts. So that's a bit of a fun one to play with. Be excited to see what you get for your organizations as you run this one. And know that you could further prompt it in the chat, or you could build out versions of this that are connected to your own data in your organization to build out your YouTube Shorts. Or maybe you've got a promotion that's coming up in your business, marketing promotion, and you want to be able to enhance that with getting these YouTube Shorts concepts done for you. And then all you need to do is read those. Now, what you can do to output these is the next important part. You can select on, oh, by the way, if you want to reprompt these, okay, regenerate the output, you can add some more prompting in here and generate those if you want to see another version. You can copy all of this text here and then paste it into another system. Or to export, you can also use the editor here if you want to make a few changes before you export it, and then export it to a PDF, a doc, or a text file. And then take that information and you can start editing it. All right, let's powerful day. Let's go back and have a look at some of the questions there, and we'll finish up in the next few minutes, see if there's any questions that our team haven't answered yet. Oh yeah, great. It's just, well, Jesus, I'm not sure which way you would like to pronounce, so I will send you the link afterwards. I think, Razul, are we now automatically sending an email to everyone after the session so they get a copy of the link? If I'm sure that's going to be an answer of a yes. Hey, by the way, post in the chat if you've got any ideas that you'd like to see in upcoming sessions. We'd love to hear them here. If you'd like me to build out something for your organization, and so that you're willing to share it in a way that others can copy, can play along at home as well at work. Yeah, these sessions will always be recorded, and I'll show you where they are so you can find them. I'll head on over to YouTube, and as our YouTube Shorts writer will tell us, please like and subscribe. We're over here at AI Powered People, and you'll see all of the past sessions will be available on here for you, the Flow Friday sessions. Because they're either a live stream or the recording's done, you might fast forward a minute or two if it's just the screensaver at the beginning to get to the start of it. We'll also see on here more videos, not just AI agents, but we'll also be sharing a range of other items. We see our new AI strategic roadmap planning sessions are on there as well. Okay, so lots on there. Let's head back to questions. And got an error, failed to finish. Reason server error. Someone's jumped onto that to help Ryan. Fantastic. How can I adapt the agents and workflow to my own business? Great one, Anne. What sort of business do you have? Pop that one in the chat. Hi there. Can you please send me the link? Yes. Someone else had an issue with not finishing. How far are we from audio input to get transcription or a video link? Great question, Mina. Can we have the web scraper that summarizes what it finds and outputs in a CSV? So yes, to output to a CSV, one of the things you might like to do is that the scraper will do the research and then pass that on to a secondary agent that will put the information into table format so that when you get to the export, it'll export to CSV more effectively. We'll need to do some testing on that, but we'll be happy to make that work well. Clarifying earlier, around 2 different businesses. One is a speaker and one is a product supplier. Can you set up 2 separate info bases? Not yet. And the challenge there is the info base is designed to influence all of the agents. So if you had 2 separate accounts, that would work. Otherwise, you may need to look at how you set up your agents for those different businesses. You might need two sets of agents. What is the limit on the number of agents, team? I don't know what we're hitting there. I think we'll need to make those later. Okay. David's saying getting American English returned. So if you just prompt in there, so large language models are from the US. So if you just add in a prompt when you're doing your tasks or in the agent itself to inform it that it must reply, must give outputs in Australian English. I would use the word must in the prompting, or must comply to using Australian English. It didn't give you the result and you asked if it was drunk. That's funny. Okay, Dean's got a good one. Anne's teaching French. Wow, that's a really interesting one. Cool. So, I mean, you could have an AI agent doing course creation is one area there. You could actually even potentially give an AI agent to your students and have them interact with it in French. That could be an interesting way to do it. And there's no doubt lots of marketing ideas could come out there. Depending on what your sales process is, you could help it to create sales scripts in order to interact with people. Could also, if you're doing any sales over the phone, this is one thing that I think many will be asking for soon, is that call recordings could go in, and then from those call recordings, and analysis and feedback could be given on how effective the person was in their sales process. That will be a useful one. Another one for let's say for the French teaching French business could also be that a student could, gosh, I could see a world where an examination is run where the student is given a whole range of different questions they need to reply and see how they go with their answers, or an analysis on a transcription. Dave's got, how much does it cost per token? Oh, I love this one. Here we go. Oh, sorry, I should have shared that earlier. And then we're over time. I'm going to answer this last question, and the other questions we've got we'll handle offline. So whenever you run when you run a workflow, there's a new feature up the top here. It's this little I info button. So this particular flow costs 5 cents to run these YouTube scripts. What would you pay to get 7 scripts written is the question I like to ask on this one. It's pretty amazing, right? So it measures the input cost, the output cost, shows the total cost, 5 cents. It shows the input tokens that were used. Now, tokens are the measurement that is utilized in AI, where the communication goes off to the large language model in words, and it gets broken down not as words and not as letters, but it's sort of a chunk of a word. Sometimes it's a letter, sometimes it's three. It's called a token, and this is the number of tokens that are utilized, and that's how we pay for the AI inference. That's the essentially our electricity. Really, we're paying for our electricity, which is done in tokens in the AI world. So that shows you your pricing. So you can always be comfortable. You can then change your model if you're doing something you want. If you're, the more advanced your prompting is and the more advanced you are with multiple agents, you can then start to look to switch to 3.5. I would always build my agents using GPT-4o to get the really advanced prompting done. But then you might look at, as you bring, multiple agents together in flows, that you might use 3.5. But have a play with it. It's up to you. For me, I look at, wow, for 5 cents, if I can do this, this just has cut through all my procrastination and gives me the ability to get up and running really quick. Like, I'd probably even adjust some of these scripts further for my own because I've got knowledge in the area, but I really loved what was put out there. It was a great question. All right. Hey, everyone, thank you so much. 10:05. We're respecting your time. Well done, everyone, for your advancing your flow engineering careers. Anyone that was the first time, thank you. Recordings will come out. The links will come out to you as well. Really appreciate everyone's time. And David, I think you're still getting American English. Let's see if we can help with that. Oh, thanks. Really, really appreciate it. And love you guys coming along and really seeing the advancements coming. Quite a few people on the call today too. Well done. All right, everyone, have an amazing day, a great weekend. Looking forward to next week. Until then, continue on your flow engineering and master the art of AI agents. Bye, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. Bye for now.